Merry Christmas in July. The truth is that Emmanuel, God with us, is as true in July as it is in December. But we get a different perspective when it is not confused with sleigh bells and eggnog. Thank you to Rachel for recording our gospel reading from Luke chapter 2 for today. What does Emmanuel, God is with us, mean? Well, first and foremost, it means that we are loved. Not in a general, nebulous sort of way, but specifically in our bodies. To love is a specific verb. It needs an object to become real. A general declaration of, I love all people, or I love all children like my own, makes love evaporate because there's no tangible person to test our general promise. We cannot be patient, kind, endure all things, hope for all things, believe all things for all people in general. So many people and forces compete for our effort and loyalty. To love someone is to make decisions that take their well-being into account, even at great cost to ourselves. Without that specific person, my claim to love everybody is really still about me and how I am claiming to be. To love is an embodied practice. We can only do it with our bodies, not just our minds or hearts. We love with our ears, voices, hands, and feet. We may dedicate our lives to a particular movement, such as working for climate justice, or anti-racism work, or healthcare access for all. But a general commitment will always fizzle out when things get particularly hard, without specific loved ones to picture, for whom we are staying in the fight. We need to love in a specific way, as we are specifically loved. As God became flesh and dwelt among us, we can only love through how our bodies move in the world and interact with others. We also need specific stories to bring others along with us. Personal stories and personal connections are what make commitment possible. The Nativity of Christ in the Gospel of Luke goes like this. In those days, a decree went out from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration and was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All went to their own towns to be registered. Now, while the details of the story or being able to locate it in history don't really matter to whether or not it is true, God getting specific in becoming a particular person in a particular time and place in the flesh is the way that love goes into action. Love doesn't act in general, like all lives matter, or all children are our children. But loving action is specific for those we know who are hurting. God says through Jesus, you who are broken, I will heal. You who are lost, I will find. I will stand between you and death, my beloved. It is in this specific way that God's very own child is born for the sake of the whole world. Love must be embodied. For the sake of those in the grip of an oppressive empire, for the sake of those whose lives don't matter to those in power, for the sake of God's love being real and proven without a doubt. God was born as one of us, as vulnerable as can be. Now we need embodied reminders too, people bearing the Christ in this time and this region also. Remembering a generalized God who mostly acted at a time long ago and far away is not the same as recognizing God with us, born from a woman's body, held in a human father's hands. In the midst of this long summer, when the coronavirus rages across this country and the uprisings against racism continue to be met with brutal violence, we all need to know we are specifically loved. We are born to reach others with that love. We need to know that somebody would put their body between us and those who would destroy us. As the wall of moms and many others are doing in front of the protesters in Portland. When babies are still being born in the midst of incredible fear and threat to life, we need love to be an active verb with very specific actions. God is with us, not in a general way, but even on July 26, 2020, in the region of the Twin Cities, Minnesota, USA, during the time of COVID. So how do we make that real for our neighbors? Let's get specific about some embodied ways of showing our love, as God does. Active listening may be more crucial now than ever before. People need to talk, need to process their feelings, and know that their struggles are heard. Active listening is an embodied practice, hearing not only words, but tone, body language, if that's available, and asking follow-up questions to show that we are listening. Truly being listened to can be how God shows up for people in this time, as it makes us feel that we are less alone. We also think about our loved ones a lot while we're apart physically. We can send reminders that we are thinking of someone in the form of an article that might interest them or something that reminded us of them. The power is in the contact, whatever form it takes. Finally, consider the main characteristic of a newborn baby, even the Christ child. They are needy. To depend on others and ask for help is an embodied practice that even Jesus participated in. It allows others to act lovingly towards you, as God does. So let your needs show. Ask for help or just reveal something that is vulnerable about you so that others can step up and put their love into action. Do not be afraid, God's messenger said to the shepherds in that region, "For see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all the people." And then got specific. To you is born this day in the city of David a Savior who is the Messiah, the Lord, for you. God became flesh and moved into the neighborhood. Thanks be to God.